December 22nd, 1944. Late morning. Bastogne, Belgium. The cold has been inside the stone walls for 6 days. Not weather anymore. Furniture. It sits in the corners, presses into the floor, has worked its way into every surface McAuliffe's body touches. His hands are numb inside the sleeping bag. His breath makes a small cloud in the dark above his face. Outside, at uneven intervals, the crump of outgoing artillery. Each round counted now, each one a subtraction from an inventory close to zero. Lieutenant Colonel Ned Moore's voice arrives before McAuliffe's brain is ready for it. The words land before his eyes are open, before his hands have found the edge of the bag. Moore tells him the Germans have sent men forward to take their surrender. And McAuliffe, not awake, not deciding anything, says one word. Then he starts to climb out, and his boots find the frozen floor. The leather is cold through his socks. On the Ardennes road, 2 German officers in long overcoats and polished black boots are standing blindfolded in a field. The senior officer is a major. His companion, Lieutenant Helmuth Henke of Panzer Lehr, is holding a briefcase under his arm. They are waiting for an answer to a document that has promised to annihilate every man in this city. The answer is already given. McAuliffe doesn't know he's the one who gave it. 6 days earlier, Major General Maxwell Taylor, the actual commanding general of the 101st Airborne Division, is in Washington attending a staff conference. Brigadier General Gerald Higgins, the assistant division commander, is in England. In Bastogne, inside a stone building that cannot hold heat, an artilleryman is filling in for 2 absent superiors. Not a divisional commander, an artilleryman. The Army's chain of command, designed precisely for moments like this one, has produced a gap. The gap is occupied by McAuliffe. He is simply the man who did not leave. On December 17th, Eisenhower orders the 101st Airborne forward from its rest area near Reims. 300 miles in open trucks through freezing rain. Along the convoy route, the paratroopers pass soldiers from the 28th Division walking the other direction, single file along the road shoulder, walking away from the guns. The men riding toward the sound watch the men walking away from it. Someone shouts from a truck that they are going the wrong way. 7 roads converge on Bastogne. The Germans call it a road octopus. The majority of routes through the Ardennes pass through the town, as whoever holds the crossroads controls movement through the entire highlands. McAuliffe feels this in his chest. What he does not know, what he will never know, is that the surrender note now being carried toward his command post is a bluff. The document threatens 1 German artillery corps and 6 heavy anti-aircraft battalions ready to annihilate U.S. troops in and near Bastogne. The order for firing to be given immediately after a 2-hour term. Those guns are already gone. Von Lüttwitz has sent his ultimatum without telling Manteuffel, without telling his own superiors. A gamble. Nothing more. When the reply arrives and Bayerlein wants to strike with the massed guns the note described, von Lüttwitz has to stop him and explain those guns are not there anymore. So the heavy artillery was moved to forward positions past Bastogne. Past the town the Germans haven't yet taken. The threat that should hang over McAuliffe's refusal like a blade is hollow. He holds against a bluff without knowing it. He will never know. The night of December 19th. McAuliffe moves through rows of litter cases in the converted building. Dim light, the smell of cold and blood, and not enough of anything. He moves between the litters, and a soldier rises from one, face damaged, arm still reaching, and says to him, "Don't give up on account of us, General Mac." McAuliffe files it. He does not know yet that in a few hours, someone will arrive asking him to do exactly that. By December 22nd, artillery ammunition is restricted to 10 rounds per gun per day. He stands at the fire direction center and looks at a number. Note he built this ring. 36 howitzers around the perimeter, massing fire at threat after threat. the nervous system that has been defeating German attacks in detail. He knows in his hands what those guns can do. He has spent his career knowing it. Now the silence between shots stretches long enough to hear the wind moving through the walls. 10 rounds per gun, per day. His weapon goes quiet around him by arithmetic. Among the guns in that ring, the all-African-American 969th Artillery Battalion, fighting alongside white paratroopers, the first desegregated American unit action since the Revolution. McAuliffe counts their rounds the same as all the others. The sky is the color of a wall. Every morning he steps outside the command post, looks up, and the answer is the same. No. The C-47s that could resupply the garrison cannot fly into this weather. The P-47 Thunderbolts that could tear German armor open cannot see through it. Somewhere on an airfield that cannot launch, shells and bandages and rations sit under a closed sky. Inside the perimeter, men try to dig foxholes with bayonets and bare hands, the ground too frozen for a shovel. A 19-year-old from the Yucatan who has never seen snow rubbing his buddy's feet through the boot leather to stop the frostbite. Nothing is coming. Hold with what you have. December 22nd, late morning. A group of 4 German soldiers appears on the Ardennes road carrying 2 white flags. 2 officers, 2 enlisted men. The senior officer is Major Wagner of the 47th Panzer Corps. The junior is Lieutenant Henke of Panzer Lehr, briefcase under his arm. APFC Leo Palmer watches them come from his foxhole. Long overcoats, polished black boots, the slow, deliberate walk of men who believe they have already won. Word spreads along the American line that the enemy has had enough and is giving up. The men with the briefcase are not here to surrender. They are here to explain how completely the Americans have already lost. The note arrives at the command post. McAuliffe reads it, crumples it into a ball, throws it in the wastepaper basket, and mutters something low. His staff casts around for suitable language for a formal reply. Lieutenant Colonel Harry Kinnard says quietly that what the general already muttered, that word, would be hard to beat. McAuliffe looks at him. He doesn't remember saying anything. Kinnard says the word again. McAuliffe hadn't known he'd said it. The officers in the room applaud, laughing in a stone room, in a besieged city, over a word their general didn't know he'd spoken. Colonel Harper finds the 2 German negotiators standing blindfolded in the woods, waiting to be sent back. He hands them the reply. He explains if they don't understand what the word means, in plain English it is the same as go to hell. One German replies that they will kill many Americans. This is war. They walk back down the Ardennes road with a one-word reply in a briefcase, and the guns that should give that word weight are already gone past them. Christmas Eve. The Luftwaffe drops magnesium flares over Bastogne. White-orange light, the wrong color, pulsing through every window. Then the Ju-88 bombers. The building shakes. Plaster falls from the ceiling, and the smell of burning stone and wood fills McAuliffe's lungs. His command post is hit. There is no rear anymore. The siege is inside the walls. Through a window still intact, paratroopers at a midnight Christmas service, enemy shells screaming overhead. Candles set in empty C-ration cans. Men decorating strips of radar jamming foil as Christmas trees. McAuliffe looks at it. He does not explain it. There is nothing to explain. Christmas morning. Tanks. The ground shakes under their treads before they appear. The 26th Volksgrenadier Division throwing its last full weight at lines held by men who have been in frozen foxholes for 6 days. 18 armored vehicles move through the snow. In the bottom of an icy foxhole, a soldier prays in English and Spanish because the situation has exceeded the capacity of any one language. Rationed to 10 rounds a gun, running on Belgian brandy and a word said in a sleeping bag. They hold. They destroy every tank. The snow around the perimeter goes black with burnt metal. That night, McAuliffe reaches General Middleton on the radio. He says quietly that the finest Christmas present the 101st could get would be a relief tomorrow. Not a report, an exhale, the thing his face has not permitted itself to show in 6 days. Middleton tells him he knows. The voice comes through the static, worn and certain. December 26th, dusk. After moving over 100 miles in 5 days, the 4th Armored Division's 37th Tank Battalion reaches Bastogne. McAuliffe moves south through his own perimeter, braving sniper fire, toward the grinding treads coming up the road. He passes men in foxholes. Their hands are the color of bark. Their faces are the color of the frozen ground they have been lying on. He does not speak. He looks. At the burned-out hulks of German tanks in the snow. At the foxholes and the men who held them. At a town that should, by any rational accounting, have been gone 5 days ago. He stands in the middle of it and goes still. The most famous word in American military history was not a decision. His staff had put him down to sleep, not rest, sleep, while they managed what they believed were minor emergencies. When Moore's voice arrived, McAuliffe's eyes weren't open yet. The word came out before anything conscious could intercede. Not will. Reflex. He held a crossroads against artillery that was already gone past him, under a chain of command with no one above him to answer, as a temporary occupant of a role he had never been trained for. So his courage was real. The perimeter held. The offensive broke against it. The Western Front did not split. But the legend that attaches to that morning, the Iron Will, the general who looked at an entire Panzer Corps and laughed, belongs to a word that escaped before the decision could arrive. He did not choose it. He had to be reminded of it. Then he asked his staff what to write, because he genuinely did not know. The central square of Bastogne bears his name. Every year, from the balcony of the town hall, fistfuls of walnuts rain down into that square. The tradition for him, for the word, for the morning of December 22nd, 1944. The square fills with the sound of them hitting stone, year after year, in honor of a word a tired man said before his boots found the floor. A word he had to be told he had spoken. Because that, apparently, is what it looks like when history turns.